what's up? This is Alvaro from MadBoys and welcome to the third day of the Amsterdam Music Week. And today we have the Music Production Masterclass. So I hope you learn something interesting today. And I'm going to divide the masterclass in different points, okay? First of all, I'm going to explain how my workflow is, okay? And I'm going to give some advice to take your ideas from your mind to the reality, okay? So I don't have much to say, and after that we will jump right now into a real project. So let's go. Okay, right before starting, I want to thank ICA Series, one of the official partners of Fresh Breath Records, because they have created this amazing new t-shirt. You can check them out, ICA Series, and they include Fresh Breath logo. So thank you so much for sending this t-shirt, and let's start. Alright, first of all we have here this project is from our latest MadBoys ID. So this is something exclusive for you guys in this special week. And first of all I'm gonna explain how my usual workflow is. Okay, so I don't really start just with always the chords, for example, bass line, melody. I don't have a fixed idea, okay? But when I don't have an idea, what I do always is to start with the chords. But in this case, in this song, the melody came to my mind, and I just had to. The melody came to my mind, so I just had to draw that idea into the piano roll. So yes, the melody sounds something like this. Okay, something like that. It has some variations. As you can see, I used 3 different patterns, okay? So for me, once you have the original idea, it doesn't matter where you are. For me, the key is to take your phone and record an audio for yourself with the idea, with the melody, with the bass line, with the chords. It doesn't really matter, but record it, because you are going to forget about what was in your mind, okay? Don't just record, for example, if you have this melody, okay, you can just take your phone and say like pam pam pa pa pam. No, because you're going to listen to that audio later and you are not going to understand what's going on there, okay? So try to add some voice notes, okay, of what's in your mind, like for example about the synth. For example, this is a big synth, big festival and club synth, okay, and I had this melody in my mind with I wanted to design to produce the comeback of our release called Close to Me with Kids. So you can check right now at MadBoys Spotify and socials, okay. So I wanted to make it like a comeback of that song. So we needed something clubby and with a festival vibe at the same time, okay, and also with the same energy, or maybe in this case a bit more. So it had to be like this, a dirty synth, okay. Once you have your idea here in the piano roll, you have to take, for example, you have to look for the ideal sound you are looking for. In this case, I used this direct wave synth, okay? So it is just a riser, as you can check. For example, I'm going to remove all the effects so you can actually identify how the synth sounds, okay? So without effects, it is something like this. Just a riser, I know, it is like the normal synth, okay? But here in direct wave, all I did was to imagine in my mind how I wanted it to sound, okay? So first of all, I added some EQ, okay? So in my opinion, all you have to do is to mess around a bit with the sounds, okay, with the effects, and by taking several hours playing and messing around with all those sounds, you can come up with amazing sounds, effortless, for real, because you are just playing with parameters and sounds and that stuff. So first of all, I removed the lows and boosted a bit of the mids, okay, just some little frequencies, so it started to sound like this. I also added the OTT. I strongly recommend you to use OTT, and this kind of must have VSTs because they are free, okay? So it is a multiband compressor. I'm going to explain real quick how a compressor works. So imagine the sound, okay, has higher and lower volume in the different frequencies, okay? So the compressor, what makes is to reduce the difference of the highest, what we call the highest peak, which is the peak with the highest volume, and the lowest, okay? So it reduces that distance by lowering the highest, okay, like this. And to do it, we normally have different parameters, okay? So with the knee, we can choose that, for example, this is not going to be down. So we can choose that, for example, from here, everything above this point, for example, the frequency we have here is going to be less. For example, with the ratio, we choose, for example, 1 2.2, which means that the proportion, okay, 1 is going to be 2, which means the half, okay? So if that was here, it is going to be in the half, okay? So now that you understand what a compressor is, we have here this OTT, which is a multiband compressor. It has the different processing I told you, but separated in different frequencies, okay? You can choose, for example, here the highs, the medium, and the low. You can compress them in different ways. Then it sounds like this, okay? Then I used some Bluetooth overdrive, so it feels more with a bit of saturation. Also, again, some EQing to cut the lows and the high frequencies, because it sounds a bit like it has too much crisp. It has too much crisp. More compression to increase a bit the volume and could compress everything together. Some bit more of overdrive. It sounds now like with a lot of noise, which was what I was looking for to make it sound dirty, okay? Now a bit of reverb, because the reverb is the key here. To make big, wider synths, okay? To make big and wider synths, you have to play a lot and mess around with the reverb and play with some automations, which we will check later, okay? So if you add some reverb, you can start feeling it wider. Some Camel Crusher, which is a multiband compressor, with a compressor with a bit of distortion, what makes it sound aggressive, okay? Now multiband compressor, but a real multiband compressor to adjust. I wanted to adjust by myself, little by little, the different parameters of the multiband compressor. I also wanted again to EQ, to use some EQing to cut the lows like that, and I needed another channel, okay? When you are, like in this case, when you are missing some space to add more effects, you can do like this. You can route to a different channel by using the arrows down below, okay? And now you are linking it. Now you have to quit the link to the master, because we don't want this channel to go to the master, but we want it to pass to this channel, okay? and add more effects, like for example more EQing to remove the lows, some Bluetooth overdrive, some more OTT to make it more compressed, some more EQing to remove the lows, some pancake. The pancake is here is to make like the sound, okay, like oscillating a bit from your left headphone to the right headphone, okay. So you can check a bit, just a bit, just a 13%. You can feel it like it is moving, so it makes like it is not just the synth in mono in the middle, so it makes like it adds some detail to the sound, okay. Now some 3D peak controller, this is this is key in this sound because this is to cut the sound, okay, so we can adjust in a better way the sound. You can check it, it sounds like it is not just like it doesn't matter how the sound ends. Here it feels like just really controlled, okay, the way we want it to sound. Some stereo enhancer to have the lead in mono, but just a bit, okay, because we still want it to sound bigger, to sound big, sorry. Some more, it says OTT, but it is not OTT, it is just more EQing to remove the lows. And this EQ, I was thinking that maybe I should add another EQ to boost some frequencies, but I fixed it later by adding more white noise, which we will see later, okay? And this channel, this final channel, goes to iPass channel with all the sounds of the lead, with the white noise and the sounds we have just seen, okay? The white noise it just has a limiter. It's like a compressor, but instead of just removing like getting the highest peak low, it just cuts those peaks, okay? And with some EQ too, so it sounds a bit more crisp, okay? And in the end, it sounds like this. This is just a white noise. You can make white noise real quick with the 3x oscillators, 3 oscillators, like by pressing this kind of dice, okay, and it sounds like white noise. So really easy. And now the key, as I said, it's to create automation clips, okay. The automation clips, it's easy because all you have to do is go to an effect. For example, in this case it was the reverb, okay. It was here, reverb, okay. All you have to do is go to the parameter you want to automate, right click, create automation clip, and it will create something like this, okay. And you can mess around a bit more, and if it is not a native plugin, like this is a native plugin, all you have to do is to touch the knob you want to automate by pressing here and browse parameters, by browse parameters, you can just go here and right click and create automation clip, as I said, and that's it. So the reverb was very controlled because I wanted to sound like a very controlled, okay, the song in general, and it is used to fill some spaces between the notes, and in some cases to cut those spaces so it sounds more controlled. Okay, you get the idea there. So that's it is very important for me, the lead of the drop, because it is going to have the main energy here. So that's it. I have spent a lot of time here. Okay, so now before going to the next step, I want to say that remember that if you are starting to produce, you have to try always to keep your idea in mind and work for that, you don't have to be like, oh shit, this doesn't sound the way I want it to sound, because you have to keep working, because you have seen all this processing hasn't been easy. I made this lead in a different project, okay, saved the result and imported here in this project, and also you can check that the whole song, the whole track, and it is not finished, okay. It has taken me, as you can see, 12 hours, almost 1 hour and a quarter, okay, and so it has taken a lot of hours for me to make this project, and without counting the hours I spent by designing this lead. So remember that you have to mess around with all the knobs, with everything there, because that way is the true way you are going to learn a lot, okay? Okay, so, and remember that you have to keep working in that project, but also, if you don't feel that project, you have to finish, okay, because you have to practice all the stages of making a track, like finishing it and that stuff. But if you don't feel it, maybe sometimes it is faster, okay, to work in a track, and sometimes it is not that easy, okay. For example, Close to Me was way faster to make. Okay, now the foundation of the track, it has a bit more automations, but it doesn't matter, okay. It has a kick, as always, some cashmere claps, drop claps, so it sounds fuller. Okay, and now we are going to talk about the bass and the foundation of the track. Okay, once I had the foundation of the track, the very basic foundation, I started to work into the bass, because it is very important, because it can add a lot to the track by messing around with playing the bass. So I created a bass line with the same figuration, or almost the same figuration as the melody, but with different notes, okay, basic notes, and it sounds with a lot of layers, with a very clean sub bass. Your sub bass has always to sound very clean, okay, because it is going to make the drop sound cleaner, of course, and it doesn't matter if the rest of the layers are not that clean, but it has to be very clean, without reverb, without anything. Okay, now I added this sound. This is another sound. This another sound. Very dirty sounds, I know. And everything together sounds like this. As you can see, it sounds very controlled, and it just has a parametric EQ, as I said, some EQing for the sub bass, okay, and that stuff. And in the bass bass, some compressing with the OTT, as we said before. There's some stereo enhancer to make the stereo wave, the stereo form like more into the middle in mono, okay, and some EQing, okay, so it sounds everything together just with the kick and the lead. It sounds like this. Cool, right? But it still feels a bit empty, okay. I wanted it to sound fuller, okay, so, and at the second part of the drop, even crazier. Okay, now we have just explained the, well, you can check, remember that you can check at MadBoys socials. We made a video explaining how we made these chords, okay. So one special advice, okay, we are just going to check the drop, how the drop sounds, okay, in this occasion, but we can make more videos like this if you want, and if you support them a lot. Okay, so it just sounds cool, okay, and crazy at the second part with more hi-hats and that stuff. Okay, so just one personal advice. Okay, you can create different arrangements to the extended mix and the radio edit and that stuff by clicking here and cloning that. Okay, and going to a different arrangement, and you can work here that it is going to be different arrangements. And now I have to give you some personal advice. You can learn a lot by listening to your favorite track. How? Just listening to your favorite track, okay? Because you can analyze how your favorite track is made just listening to the extended mix version, because at the beginning it is just the same as the drop, but with just the foundation of the drop. And it is very important, it is the most important part, okay? And before we start talking about the foundation of the drop of this track, we have to show you how the original mix, the standard mix, sounds, because you can check that it has some fills. Okay, like that. It is really basic, okay, but as you can check, it has the kick, the claps, as you can hear, and some different elements, okay? How are those elements chosen? Okay, first of all, some impacts, as you can see here, okay, with some sidechain, okay? For example, I do love the Nicky Romero sidechain, so good, and they are about to release a new version, so very recommended plugin, but it is not free. And with a riser that adds and some stabs, which are samples. You can check, for example, there are you can pay for 1 month subscription on Splice, for example, and you have plenty of samples there. It is an amazing website. Like that, with more effects, always messing around, like that. And with I wanted to sound it like really like the industry, like not that like that, and I wanted like to sound it in that way. So what I imagined is like, how do machines sound? Okay, I know it's a bit strange, but and I thought like this kind of sound like that is perfect. No, sorry, this is not that sound. Like this kind of little sounds, as you can see, for example here, that sounds. Okay, like that. For example, it sounds like different machines, or at least for me, it sounds like a factory. Okay, so it sounds like more industrial, like not that real, okay, and that's what we want. But also I wanted it to sound a bit organic and to have that balance between those different kind of sounds. I used this sampled flute, and also to remark those main notes, okay. So like that, you can check the foundation of the track is really easy, and it sounds very well. Okay, and at the second part it is just the same, so you can hear the bass line better, okay, and with more risers and more elements, more sounds, with more cymbals, something like that. Okay, something like that. You can check it is it has a lot of energy with very little elements. Okay, so after that we have the different elements. Okay, and just you have completed your drop. So yes, I know it is really easy to talk about it, but now the hard part is to keep practicing and keep having amazing ideas, and keep trying, never keep trying. Okay. And remember that you can go to the First Breath Records Discord server and send us your tracks and send us your demos, and we will listen to them and give you feedback on how to improve your productions. So remember that the final drop sounds something like that. Okay, so I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys learned something new today. It is very important for me, so just support us, support MadBoys and Fresh Breath Records for organizing this kind of event. So thank you so much for everyone who has been waiting for and watching this video. My name is Alvaro from MadBoys, and thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. Bye.